spots. So really, really critical to have an experienced and veteran player like Escribano healthy and ready to play.
We are underway. Once again, the rivalry will take on a new chapter here in 2024. It's the Demon Deacons in the Cavaliers. Both teams desperate for a win. But two very storied programs and very talented programs just having to go through it. As we mentioned off air, Kyle, they kind of have to reshuffle the deck every year, and that's a curse as well as a gift, right?
Yeah, and both teams have had to really deal with that because of how high stature the program is. I mean, you're sending guys to the pros early. You're losing them to the draft, to overseas. You know, sometimes because of how good the squad is, some really talented players don't get in and transfer. So both teams have had high turnover for good reasons. And I think that both coaching staffs, you know, it's something they need to deal with, but it's also a positive sign.
Wake Forest caught an offside position as Virginia trying to start off with a nice attack. Getting the first start of his UVA career is Joaquin Bruzuela from Argentina. He's number 11. One player to watch, too, for Virginia. We saw this kid play this summer. It's Brendan Lamb from Apex, North Carolina. He's a defender, but he will get involved in the attack, and he is sneaky good. As Virginia will get the first corner.
Virginia's pressing really high to start this game. I think they've noticed that Wake Forest hasn't handled high pressure terribly well so far this season, and they are coming at the Deeks right out of the gates.
First corner. It was almost knocked away by Alphen, and also it's whistled dead.
Yeah, I think Trace got fouled a little bit there. I was wondering because he didn't get good contact on that punch, and he's usually so strong at commanding his area that, you know, it's surprising to see a weak punch like that. There's really nobody there. Oh, there's the foul. Okay. Yeah. So Trace, I mean, he's got to do better with that, but bailed out by a pretty obvious foul.
Austin Rome was the guilty party there on the yank. Wake Forest, of course, they're very good at shooting. They just can't quite execute. Now, Virginia, very stout defense. They are the best in the ACC in goals allowed. Wake Forest second in the ACC in shots per game.
Yeah, Virginia defense has been spectacular this year. They haven't conceded more than one goal in any game yet this season, and they've got 2 clean sheets along with that. So really impressive.
And that one goal they allowed to Duke was an own goal by of course, our player to watch, Dang. And, you know, it was unfortunate because that dipped, and he just couldn't quite get it out of the clearances. Wake Forest quickly surging in, and this will result in a possible counter, and the whistle will blow it dead.
Yeah, that's Baba Niang getting into the action early. The Virginia coaches told us before the game, they were like, yeah, we're going to keep an eye on him because that's just the ability that he has, and also the reputation that he has as a player who can change games, that the coach is freely willing to admit, yeah, we're watching him.
Yeah.
And that Virginia coaching staff, they are very ready for this game, but Bobby Muse will want to get Baba Niang on the ball as much as they can. He's playing on the wing today, often playing as a number 10 in the middle, but they've got him out wide today.
Nice ball played to get Trace Alphen to come out, and trying to get Alphen and trying to get into his head. You could see a little bit of extracurricular activities there by Palat.
Yeah, Deeks have not handled this high press well at all. They cannot get out of their own half, even though they're a possession team. They like one-touch passing. Virginia, very, very high pressure. We'll see how long they can keep that up. If the Deeks weather that storm for maybe 20 minutes or so, Virginia may start to tire and back off. But right now, a lot of high pressure. And Ty, what they want Wake Forest to do is move the ball wide. they want to use the sideline as a trap.
Miller, and this is going to be a shot by Bruzuela. Bruzuela, as Virginia once again rebuilding. There's Mangarov. This is played in the back door. It's just as sneaky as that. It's Reese Miller who is making the run on that back stick and executes to put Virginia ahead early, 1-0.
Brilliant cross right along the face of goal, Ty. It was perfectly placed. No defender could get there, and Trace Alfin wasn't able to come out and collect it. And Ty, it's just, this is what happens when you've got inexperienced players in the middle. Daniel Kruger is such a talented defender, but lost his mark there at the far post. And Virginia opens the scoring. Perfectly placed cross and a great run at the far stick for Reese Miller.
Virginia will take it. They've had trouble scoring this season as of late. They were shut out by Duke, but Reese Miller with his 3rd goal of the season, sneaking by and finding him wide open right there on that far stick.
Yeah, that high pressure for Virginia paying dividends right away. Just 5 minutes into the game, they generated a ton of turnovers in the Wake Forest defensive half and were able to just be in a position without having to build forward.
The question is, can Wake Forest respond? Not the exact start they wanted, but a perfect start for UVA. Kennedy laying that one. This is brilliantly played over here to Niang. Good defense by the Cavaliers. That's Wiese, who was able to stop Baba Niang from having any type of time to work around. Vuvuzela night here at Spry Stadium. Of course, you can hear that. Takes you back to 2010. We'll tell you more about that a little later. But early doors in this one, and Virginia not wasting any time. Those sneaky balls that find a way to get in that back door and pouncing on it, all about timing. Sometimes you can just sneak by the defender like that, and that's what Reese Miller did to make it 1-0 Virginia. Nice turn there by Bruzuela. Mangarov, transfer from UNCG 2 years ago. Wiese getting involved. Mangarov, who came over from UNCG and immediately had an impact at UVA. He has scored 3 straight years. The first goal by UVA. There's Coach George Gelnovich. That's 29th season at UVA. Just the 10th hire for a program that dates back to the 40s. He studied under Bruce Arenas and knew he was the right man for the job.
Yeah, you never want to be the guy after the guy, right? But somehow Gelnovich was able to not just make the job his own, but persist with the Cavaliers for so long. Bruce Arena, obviously such a legendary figure in not just collegiate soccer, but American soccer in general. This is where it started for him.
Talks to George probably every day. Both him and Bruce Arena, George Gelnovich had that big run into the World Cup 2002. The farthest that the U.S. men's national team has gone. I remember that like it was yesterday. Yes, I'm showing my age.
U.S. could use some of that magic right now. Hopefully, Mauricio Pochettino, who was unveiled earlier today as U.S. national team head coach, can bring some of his European magic over an Argentine magic to the U.S. side.
Fessler going to bring his Charlotte magic into that pocket. And Cooper Flax nicely. Oh, he just got away with a little shove there on Gashi.
Deke's midfield has not been sharp so far in this game. It's been a tough day for them against the press.
Well, these two teams, we told you about how deep it goes. And the programs, Virginia, of course, started way long time ago before Wake Forest got started. But immediately it was like the little brother jumping in, and they have stirred a rivalry that's well known. You look at the program history with UVA with 7 stars, top of their name. Wake Forest with 1. Look at the College Cup appearances too. This is also brewing well for UVA. Here's Lamb who played for Wake County FC during USL 2 stint this summer.
Ty, what I love about this rivalry is, I mentioned it in the intro, how it's a soccer-specific rivalry. It's not like a Duke UNC where you just, regardless of whatever sport's playing.
This is another good delivery that gets inside the box. There's been a couple of deliveries that have been able to be executed on those outside channels.
With those rivalries that are not sports-specific and are school-specific, sometimes you don't have, in the other sports besides like football and basketball, you don't get the real venom in it, right? Because it's more pervasive. It's more just in the blood. It's not purely down to the players and the individuals in this rivalry. But for this one, they are rivals because of certain players and coaches and moments. And you can really feed off that and build off that. It's more natural to me.
I remember coming to watch these matches back in the late 80s. And that, what they used to be an intramural field somewhat. And they were already big. I mean, they had lots of fans here. We had to get here early. So that just shows you, again, the history. I believe I saw John Harkes and Tony Miola as a keeper there.
Wonderful human being, Tony Miola. Love him.
Pretty good analyst, too.
Very.
There's Flax in the pocket. That's another one of those players that UVA said they wanted to put a circle around, was Flax. Escobar getting involved. Escobar trying to uncork and got hit. Or hit Julian Kennedy. It ricochets back to Baba Niang, and Niang working close to that angle near the byline. It's going to be a throw-in.
Well, Virginia wanted an offside call on Kennedy when the shot crashed into his back. It certainly was close, but no call there.
It's Coach Muse, 142 wins. And we'll get to a little bit more about his work at Wake Forest. I think sometimes is overlooked. Not overlooked, but I think we've gotten spoiled.
Yes.
I mean, we went back and looked at his records, and you say his one down year was last season. He's still got a first week bye in the NCAA. Here's Cooper Flax. So he's trying to drill that one. Fessler getting involved. Kennedy trying to get involved. This one squirts out. Maybe a chance for Jeffrey White to put a boot on it. And it's out of harm's way. Kruger, the freshman, going up against the international. Bruzuela gets his first start, and that's a slide tackle from behind. Alex Wood, also a transfer from Lipscomb.
Cooper Flax has deserved a goal this year, Ty. He's had so many really high-quality chances just not work out, but he is a great finisher and came close here, blocked away. Deke's really starting to build pressure now. When we spoke to the Virginia coaching staff, they admitted, because I asked them, Ty, I said, you know, obviously you don't want to lose the way you play just because of the opponent, but you have to understand that Wake Forest, I'm sure, is going to want to keep the ball. And they said, we're not uncomfortable defending for stretches. We just don't want to get pinned in our own half. And that's what's starting to happen here. The Deeks are really starting to pin Virginia back now that they've been able to break through the early pressure and establish themselves in the attacking half.
A little uncharted territory for Wake Forest. You see the graphic there. Now having to have to play from behind, and that was a good sequence by Wake Forest that just unfortunately could not work out. And here's a fight to play it back with Kruger getting there. The young lad getting his wings immediately.
Nice
It's just
ball.
Flax trying to settle this one down. Niang, one extra touch there at the corner of the 18, and it was taken away, of course, by the stingy defense of Virginia.
Ty, first touch is the most important skill in soccer, in my opinion, and Cooper has a great one. That wasn't his best work. That is a highly difficult thing to do, is bring a ball down over your shoulder with your
Great
leg.
vision here, Niang. Hold that thought. Kyle, sorry, I had to
No,
do
you're good.
Gonna do a Derek Ray there. Now this is, are you interested by this, how Wake Forest has pushed everybody up now, and then, you know, UVA, which is a lot different than, of course, Radford. They want to quickly get on the counter, which will hurt you. But Wake Forest I'm actually impressed by some of that press and bringing, kind of moving everybody up and cutting the pitch in half, especially when you're down 1.
Yeah, the difficulty was just to break the pressure from Virginia. Once they established themselves in the attacking half, then they could pour it on. The Wake Forest coaching staff a bit upset with how long Virginia took to take that free kick.
Flax, he's been able to work. Cooks this one right over the top for Jeffrey White. Let's see what he can do.
He's all on his own, no help.
Travis Smith Jr. will be his support. And once again, Wake Forest allowing that sink to get clogged back up. And they'll work around the perimeter, make the switch with Escribano. Towing his way into the 18, trying the diagonal ball. And they're going to say it's last touched by Wake Forest, although, Kyle, you see it differently, don't you?
Well, we're far away. It's hard for us to see that. From up here, it looked like Escribano did well to win that corner off the defender, but it may have caromed back off his foot.
That's one of those unlucky situations. You know, we talk about how soccer has that element in it, and then that one ricocheted back off of Escribano, and he touched it last and went out of bounds.
Deke's looking to press high now and put Virginia under some pressure.
Now, just give you a sense of, all right, Gelnovich, who's Hall of Famer. 2015, when Bobby Muse came on, in that window, Gelnovich comes into the season with 98 wins. So that's averaging almost 11 wins. Wake Forest Bobby comes in with a 140, which it's kind of eye-popping when you go back and look at that. But now he has 142.
How about that? 3 of the 5 teams on that list there, Ty, now in the ACC, with Stanford coming in.
Now, those are prime programs. Indiana, of course, dismissed Wake Forest last year in the NCAA tournament, and they also dismissed UVA. So went through the gauntlet of the ACC. Indiana showed how stout they were. Didn't quite finish the mission, but look, Indiana in November is about as scary as you can get. Cooper Flax trying to backheel that one. Perez Escribano allowed some time there to kind of scan the field. Now Kruger has moved up, the freshman from Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's how you know the Deeks are really looking to fill the attacking half with players. Center back there has, looked like he got the ball.
Yeah, that looked like he got the ball. And from the side, Reese Miller goes down. He sold it. Good for him, though. So that's part of the game.
When it's not a dangerous tackle, and this one isn't because you said from behind, he clearly gets the ball there. It's not dangerous, and the tackle is won. That's one of those tackles where you look at it, you're like, all right, if you're going to call the foul, it probably should be a card. But the referee has sort of rode the fence there.
Alex Wood returning it to Lamb. Brendan Lamb.
Good step.
Had a way to slide it over to Mangarov, and it's cut out by Escribano. Into space. Flag stays down. Here is Jeffrey White on his horse, and he just put a little extra touch on that, and he's wiped out in the box by Rome.
Yeah, and that's, again, we'll go back to it just from a minute ago. It's not dangerous, and you won the ball, so it's a clean tackle. Referee correctly judges this one. It looks bad, right, because the player gets wiped out, but that's a clean tackle.
White trying to get acclimated. This is a very talented player. Also had to deal with a knock, just like pretty much 80% of this club. Wake Forest has had to go through. This is a floater that had some backspin, hoping to maybe to connect with Jeffrey White. Flax has been involved all over, and so has Jeffrey White. Step over. Can he find a clean look? Slides it over. Here's Baba Dieng. Put in the inside of his foot. He'll have maybe another chance. Fessler, good look, long distance. He just hit it wide of the frame. Still a good synchronized attack by Wake Forest. And it's last touched by UVA, so it will be a Wake Forest corner.
Fessler with that right foot. We know what he can do. He's hit a couple from long distance. Just taking a deflection wide of the net.
Yeah, Fessler, if you remember, had a good look last time these two teams played. Just missed it, but he's got distance, and he can also perform the corner. Let's see what he does here with an outswinger. This is played right well in the center as Kruger got on his ladder, just missed the swing with his head.
Yeah, Kruger just undershot the flight of the ball and had it go over his head. That was perfectly placed off the set piece. The Deeks haven't been terribly dangerous on set pieces. That was a very well-worked corner.
4 shots for Wake Forest, 3 for Virginia. But 1-0 is the difference in favor of the Wahoos. Now, Virginia also had their troubles last year, too, but they figured it out. I mean, that just shows you how Coach Gelnovich is, and, of course, the program. You know, there was question marks, people scratching their head, and then they took off and had an unbeaten streak. And then it was, everybody watch out. Virginia has woken up, and they are now a threat. They're always a threat.
Always a threat.
Fantastic program. The Deeks, you know, trying to find their footing. We talked to the assistant head coach yesterday, and he said the same thing. The Cavaliers are trying to find their footing. But you know how the ACC goes, it's you better hurry up because you have an home opener in the ACC, a date with your most heated rival. And that is indeed fact. And
you mentioned find your footing. That's where this program is right now, with just a couple guys injured, some unsettled positions. You've got Bo Cummins comes in off the bench and takes over at right back, and that's going to move Travis Smith Jr. over to the left side. So Travis Smith Jr., who's a natural center back, is now playing both fullback positions for Wake Forest.
And we talked to Coach Muse yesterday. He said, we just haven't been able to enjoy our game yet. You know, that was the thing about Pep Guardiola's Barca. It's the win was the result of the enjoyment of the game, that you're able to play well, connect passes, and do your job right.
And it's a chicken and egg situation too, Ty, right? Because sometimes coaches will say, hey, we need to start having fun, and that will help us win. But you have more fun when you win, right? So how do you get that ball rolling?
It's difficult, especially when you got new ingredients put in the pot, stir it around, and see if you can come up with something year after year. And the amount of new faces brought in this season by Coach Muse and having to quickly get acclimated. Here's one, a transfer from Dayton. Basit Umar, who is very quick. worked his tail off to get ready for July camp, or excuse me, August camp.
And he's going to play that attacking midfield position for the Deeks right now. Paris Mitchell in off the bench will play the number 9. You've got Baba Niang on the left, Jeffrey White on the right, and Umar there right in the middle.
I love the link up between Baba Niang and Paris Mitchell already. The chemistry quickly figured it out in opening weekend. Now let's see if it results here in a heated competition between the Cavaliers and the Demon Deacons. Lamb able to beat Cummings, but Cummings able to come back and make a brilliant tackle. It does go out of bounds, and it will result in another corner. But Cummings, great rebounding speed there to lock that one and at least keep the delivery. It does go out of bounds. It will be another corner for UVA. That's number 2 now tonight. And now UVA will disperse. They do have a cluster there now crashing in, and this is spinning and moving towards that back stick, still outside of the 18. Lamb, what a hit by Lamb, deflected. Now moving Gashi. This is spit out, almost poked away into free space, but UVA closes it down. Bassett Umar goes down, and good respect by Umberto Tala. Kyle, your thoughts so far in this match? Looked up, we got under 20 minutes to go in the first half. I thought it just started.
Yeah, well, Virginia did really, really well to get a goal from their early pressure, because Wake Forest has since really grabbed control of this game and pinned Virginia back in the Virginia half of the field. So if you're UVA, this has gone very well, because they knew they couldn't keep that high press up forever. And this is potentially a problem for Virginia. This is not good. Reese Miller is holding his knee, and that was not contact.
Not a good sight.
Multiple Virginia players with their hands on their head.
From Houston, Texas. In his first 3 games of the season, he has been a major factor in producing goals. Obviously, he has a goal here tonight. Had a pair against St. John's. Became a standout player upon his arrival back in 2022. There's Gelnovich concerned too. I mean, and Wake Forest concerned. They know how it is.
Yeah, you just look at the body language of all the other Virginia players, and you really just hope this isn't as serious as it looks, because Reese Miller is such clearly an important player to this team with his goal today. It's his 3rd goal of the year already.
He's trained with the Houston Dynamo first team as part of that MLS Next U17, U19 All-Star team. It's a big part of UVA in that engine that runs. And
you know, Ty, I don't. It's just tough, because you look at how the referee stopped the play, and usually you only see that for head injuries. He knew right away something was wrong, and the referee immediately stopped play for an injury, because he knew that there was an issue.
Nobody, depending if you're a Wake Forest fan and of course the UVA fan, you don't want to see that, especially being taken off. We hope Reese Miller gets back at 100%. So he's a dynamite player. Let's see this.
Take another look. It was on the run trying to reach this ball. Yeah, his foot just gets stuck. That's just tough. thoughts for Reese Miller and hopefully a speedy recovery. It's, knee injuries are part of this game. They're part of athletics in general. But if you're in it, Ty, it's just such a long recovery and a grueling one.
Yeah, the ones that tick you off the most are the ones that happen when you're by yourself and you land awkwardly.
It feels so ridiculous.
And you can be the most athletic person on the planet, and it will happen.
Yeah.
And
that's why, Ty, a lot of knee injury prevention, there's a lot of new thinking around it and new approaches to it. It's all about repetition. It's all about teaching your body and your muscle memory to land anatomically correctly, which takes forever. And it sounds really dumb because you're like, well, of course my body knows, I know how to land when I jump, but you can't think about it. It has to be pure muscle memory. And the tiny fractions of where your weight is placed when you land makes all the difference. And even with that, those things are going to happen.
Yeah, I hope our science and our geniuses can find a way that we can stop seeing those tough injuries. Always a pain to see, especially in soccer because of the short year. It's 72 days, 17 regular season games. You really don't have time to recover. And again, we say this over and over again. That's why we want the 21st century model, because it allows more time to heal. It also allows, if someone does have a hamstring, that they can still have the majority of the season remaining. And again, I thought it was great when they tried it with after the COVID year. You had the championship in May.
We will talk about that till we're blue in the face, Ty, because you and I are in complete agreement that the issue for college soccer right now from a health perspective is not the number of minutes. It's how quickly those minutes come one after another and the games. And we talked to Bobby Muse about it and other coaches too who are in support of it, and they say, look, it's not about the number of games. It's not about the amount of games these players are playing. It's about the time between games. We don't have any recovery time. And when we do have to have recovery time, we don't have any training time. So it's difficult to, keep these players at peak condition.
Trey Southman, good recovery there as he came out to reach it. And you got to say that's got to be nervy too, because you're coming out in a lot of traffic and hoping to snatch that after a little bit of rain has entered Spry Stadium.
Yep, and you wonder if the damp pitch, affects the footing of the players as well.
Still a remarkable pitch, brand new by
beautiful.
Yeah. Well, the flag went up for a second, but they say play on. And Virginia says, we'll gladly do that.
I think the referee played advantage there.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. There's number 22, Serafino. He comes in from Boston College, an ACC transfer. Referees, Lucas Feather, Benjamin Wooten, William Steffen, and Kevin Maurer. Just under 16 to go in the first half. An early goal by Reese Miller, the junior from Houston, Texas, has put UVA on top in early, and they've been able to hold it all the way here to 15.5 remaining in the first half.
Yeah, and you can tell that they're just trying to hang on to the ball right now.
Played well. Maybe on the way down, that was Ubogu. Maybe just mistimed it. Still a good idea.
Yeah, it's a half chance, well defended by the Deeks, but the Cavaliers haven't really had a solid chance on goal since the opener. And the Deeks have controlled the game. They just haven't been able to pick out the right moment in the attacking third for the equalizer.
Now you talk about UVA trying to knock it around. Reading the book about Pep Guardiola and his days at Barca, even now with Man City. They would pass around just to buy time for them to get into shape. And I love the quote that Pep Guardiola says, every pass has a message. That's great.
Yeah, best defense is an offense.
Yep.
And also, resting on the ball is a lot easier than resting off it.
Umar. Oh, that looked good on those one-touch pass return. Flag goes up.
Yeah, Paris Mitchell was like miles offside, and if you're a creative midfielder, it's the right idea, but you have to recognize that he's just extremely offside, and you can't make that pass. Well done by Virginia to step up. That was an intentional offside trap, and that's one of the things that is the hallmark of a really great defense, because if you're going to play an offside trap, everyone has to be on the same page. Because if one player is a half second too late, the trap doesn't work, and now you've opened yourself up for a counter or a goal-scoring chance.
That almost worked out. Here's a fight between Kruger and Sloan. Yeah, that's something that Paris Mitchell, who's a freshman, he'll figure it out. That's UVA, their discipline and coaching too. That you see it move up in that offside trap, and all the forward can do is say, "You got it."
Yeah, and the passer too has to recognize that the trap is occurring, and you've got to be able to play it to a player who can legally play the ball.
Lamb won the 1-2 here. Gashi. Flag in the direction of the Wahoos. There is Sloan, who came in from Cartersville, Virginia. Sloan had an easy walk over there to take the ball, plays it to Lamb. And now UVA will recycle.
Virginia's starting to reestablish their footprint on this game over the last 5 minutes.
And Sloan left alone. The delivery inside the box. Cut out. Here's Thomas. Colin Thomas, well played, skipping. Colin Thomas upended. They say play on. Looked like a solid tackle unless those studs were up.
Legal tackle. Virginia not afraid to go into a very hard challenge, 50-50. And 9 times out of 10, it's been a good one.
I applaud the courage, too, by Colin Thomas. Not scared for that contact or to get upended. Virginia hoping to grab one more. It's taken away. Flax quickly trying for the outlet pass, but it is red. And now we've got a little bit of a skerfuffle over here with Kruger, the fresh, or no, that's Borso. And Borso, I thought as if it was a player on the bench that said something, because I couldn't see his jersey, but
they just showed a yellow card to a player on the bench as well. First, there's a great tackle, and you're right, Ty. Colin Thomas doesn't come out of the challenge. Good for him. Borso, that's a hard challenge, but I can see why they're upset.
Well,
but you've got to keep your cool.
But that's a reflex, though.
Yeah.
I mean, look at his reflex. It's the guy comes in, and you kind of get your space.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that Borso did anything off the ball. That was just a very physical upper body challenge. I believe there was yellow cards to both sides there.
Yeah, Borso gets it for the unsportsmanlike contact, but I don't think.
There was definitely a card shown by the referee to somebody on Virginia, either on the bench or I would think it would be Dang for his reaction.
It's always the rebuttal. Oh, wow. Point to the spot just to add more to the misery for this Wake Forest team. as Serafino got pulled down according. Kyle was right there.
Yep.
They were hooked, and then Perez may have been able to hook him and pull him down.
It's a tough one. They're going to look at it. I'll be honest, Ty, that's a soft penalty, but I think I agree with the call. This is what I mean by that is this will be difficult to overturn. I don't know how clear and obvious this is. There's a clear arm hook, as you mentioned, and then at the end, the attacker sells the drag back. I don't think that Perez really pulled on him a ton, but he gave the referee plenty of reason to make a call like that. It's a soft one, but I think it's a fair call, and I think this will be difficult for them to overturn on replay. If they do, it's maybe because of the soft nature of the challenge. It's 50-50, but I think this is going to be difficult to overturn.
If you're locked arms, though, Kyle, right? I mean, that's both guys initiating that contact, right?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be the devil's advocate.
I mean, if I lock your arm here right next to you, you didn't do much of that.
Yeah, and we're fighting for the ball, and then I swim to a swim move.
Yeah.
And then you wait till I touch you and dive down. It looks like a push, but it's all about the artistry of with soccer.
I think this is going to be difficult to overturn. They're taking a long look at it, which is good. But, Ty, for me, VAR should be used for blatantly missed calls, and I don't see that here. Good on Prince and Ponza right now, just standing over the penalty spot and allowing his goalkeeper some time to, get his mind right and get ready to take a penalty. He's just going to prevent the attacker from putting the ball down and getting himself ready. And I would be shocked if this is overturned. Yep, penalty.
So Gashi will take it. Let's take a look. Watch this again, Kyle.
Yep, so right there, the defender is fouling the attacker.
Immediately.
And then there is a little drag back. I think it's sold well, but there's definitely enough physicality there from Perez that the penalty was the right call. This is a tough one. You would understand if the ref let it go, too, because it is just a fight, right, for the ball, but I think it's fair.
Well, Dang is going to take it from Brentwood, Tennessee. The Lipscomb transfer that seemed to be a perfect fit for this UVA team. He's 12 yards away, and Trace Alpin will try to keep it 1-0 deficit. And he does! Absolute sensational work by Trace Alpin, supermaning and knocking it away. That will build momentum quickly for his Wake Forest squad.
Ty, that is an enormous moment in this game for Trace Alpin and this Wake Forest team, and he is fired up. And the reason this is sensational is because going 2-0 down against this very defensively stout Wake Forest team is a daunting prospect. And look at Trace Alpin is pumped.
Every right to flex. Here's a time in the match where Wake Forest in danger of going down 2-0. He wears the captain band for a reason. It's just up to him. 12 yards away, and Alpin with a brilliant, sensational stop to keep it a 1-0 deficit. That's why he's one of the best, ladies and gentlemen. Flax scooped over, wide open. Flag stays down. Colin Thomas sending it across. Deep play is Borso. Falling down is able to play it back to Flax. And Flax will now usher it back. And this once again where Wake Forest gets in that half-court offense. They move it around the perimeter.
You have to create chances with that movement, though. They haven't quite been able to do that yet today.
That save ignited this crowd, and just like it ignited Prince and Ponza with a long-distance blast, as claimed by Petruni. No problem for him at all, but still, it was good pace.
Yeah, I think that's a frustration shot, though, Ty. That is a very low percentage shot from that far out, especially if you don't get any lift on the ball. And I'm not sure that's the attempt that Bobby Muse would have liked after that possession.
It's hit well. I think he intended it to bounce a little closer to Petroni. But
I think there, Ty, you're looking for a rebound, right? You're hoping that it's just enough that the goalkeeper can't quite catch it or smother it, and then you've got somebody trailing the play.
Which is something that, you know, is taught when you're young. Follow up, follow the shot, follow your teammate's shot. Because if the goalie, if you hit it right and he spilled out, you come right on and blast it in. 9 minutes remaining in the first half. Can Wake Forest find the equalizer? This looks very promising as the dummy almost worked out. The thought was there. The dummy was a brilliant idea, just nobody making that run to get the laces on it.
Yeah, just haven't had the end product so far tonight, the Deeks. A lot of pressure, a lot of final third movement.
Paris Mitchell. And that is a very, very vicious tackle that will result in a yellow card, but it's just shy of getting inside the 18.
The referee has to know to play advantage there.
Yep.
They had the cross. There was a player on the overlap, and there was a cutback for a shot on goal. You have to play the advantage. The foul is right here, and look, Bo Cummins is in for a cross. And that, I mean, this is clearly a yellow card foul, and it's a good position for a free kick, but Bo Cummins has a cutback right here.
In a perfect diagonal.
You got to play advantage there. That's a tough break for the Deeks. Austin Rome with the yellow card, though, and Wake Forest with a good free kick opportunity here.
Cooper Flax, he has some magic in him. And a shot played on the ground, looking for a handball. Paris Mitchell trying to fire it. As Wake Forest ushers it back again. Flax deflected up by the chest of Paris Mitchell. Umar put his foot out there. Plays it back to Cummins, who is kind of inverted himself, pinched in as a center back. Borso deflected again, goes out of bounds. Wake Forest claiming it went out of bounds for a corner. They said it's in.
It would have been a goal kick, Ty, because it came off a Wake player last, but it never went out.
Mangaro. There might have been a possible handball. We'll take a look in a few moments.
Yeah, it would have come right on that second effort, right off the free kick. Hard to tell for us because of how many bodies were in there.
7.5 to go. And now we've got Prince and Ponza down. And a yellow card will be issued.
Yeah, that's Parker Sloan who gets the booking. Just a late little kick.
Well, the Deeks have outshot UVA so far 8-6. But one on frame, UVA, of the 6 shots they have one on frame, or 2 on frame, pardon me, and one that
Take a look at this yellow card here. Yeah, it's a little
clearly late.
It's late. It's a soft,
you can't play the player, so that's.
Oh, it's definitely foul.
Yeah. Oh, yellow card. Right.
Yeah,
I got you. I feel you. Paris Mitchell holding it up. That's what he does so well. And he escapes, trying to play it, and it is deflected off of a UVA defender out of bounds. And Wake Forest will have another corner. Let's see if that indeed was a handball.
I don't see anything in there unless it's off the deflection. But
wait,
it's hard to see. It was on the first one. You could see the Wake players held in their hand up.
Watch this angle.
It would have been right here.
Right there, but the hand's down.
His arm's down, and it's off a deflection, which they have actually written into the not the laws, but the guidelines IFAB has this year to say specifically, well, not IFAB, but the Premier League at least has written into their guidelines that deflections from one defender to the other are not to be called handballs. And as you mentioned, Ty, his arm's in a natural position, so there's nothing there. You can also usually tell that the protests by the Wake players were pretty short-lived.
Well, they're just looking for anything right now. Trailing 1-0. I mean, the big jolt of momentum from the save by Trace Alfin is now moving is Serafino. Good takeaway by Cooper Flax.
I love a good finger wag from the referee.
The Kembe Mutombo song.
No.
Colin Thomas just can't get out of their own way. Is Bassett, Umar, and those two with Colin Thomas and Bassett, Umar also trying to gel. Which, when we talked to the assistant head coach for Virginia, he said that's something we're trying to do is gel.
Still, a lot of teams at this stage in the season are looking for that, and the Virginia coaches made a great point. They said, especially for a lot of top programs, it's easy in the beginning of the season when you don't have all your pieces or you're still trying to, work on that chemistry for lower tiered opponents to take advantage of that, right? Because they build in confidence. Maybe it's a 0-0 game in the 70th minute, and now the underdog side says, hey, we've got a shot here, and that confidence can override a larger program's inability to build chemistry. So this is about the stage in the season where these teams like Wake Forest and Virginia start to hit their stride.
A foul called on the Dayton transfer. Four and some change remaining in the first 45, with UVA leading 1-0 on an early goal by Reese Miller, who went out on an injury. We hope and pray that he will get back to 100%. Remarkable player for the Wahoos.
That could be some inspiration in this game for Virginia, too. The guy who's put you in front now comes out with a potentially serious injury.
Pala. Now to Obogu. Obogu trying to light one up, but is blocked away. And now Colin Thomas got a little risky there by pulling that one back into the box. Plays it up for Paris Mitchell to run on. I think Dang wanted to call on the contact. The referee was not amused and said play on.
Yeah, this can be a source of inspiration for Virginia now. The guy who's got you in front, he comes off with an injury. Now you want to play and win to validate, his hard work to put you in front. And
there's Reese Miller right there.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel the frustration. You
see it on his face.
Disappointment. We feel you, Reese Miller. We hope you get back. Well played, though. Gashi, dangerous, Serafino, and he sends that one wide left.
It'll be a corner on the deflection. I don't think Serafino recognized how wide open he was on the penalty spot, and by the time he turned and faced to the goal, he didn't have much of a window.
He actually scored against UVA when he was with Boston College back in 2021. And then now has joined the Wahoos. Another corner for UVA, which spells trouble. And Mangarov, who can play it well on another pass on a dime on that far stick. You couldn't have played that any better by Mangarov. And Ubogu is down. I mean, that is...
It was really hard to see what happened in there with the scrum. I think Trace Alfin just made an amazing save. We'll have to take another look at it, but I am
surprised.
That ball was exceptional, and it was dangerous twice. It goes over the head of the first man there, and yeah, look at that. Look at that. Just moves the ball out of the way of the attacker.
That's a behind
the back little poke.
Trace Alfin. Wow. S on his chest here tonight. Never seen it kind of behind the back stop, but after stopping a PK and then another brilliant stop, keeping his Deacons alive into this contest. But we tick down to under 2 minutes to go in the first half. UVA once again poaching try to penetrate into the box. Rolled away, and Trace Alfin picks it up. Could we see one more trip down into that, as the old Dalglish used to say, the magic box, back to Blackburn Rovers days? That's too old for you, Kyle.
The magic box on Friday the 13th.
And look, everybody's dropped back for UVA.
Yeah, they know there's just a minute left in this half. Just don't concede. The old adage in hockey is first minute, last minute of each period. You don't want to fall asleep.
That's a good inserted pass, though. The discipline and shape by the back line by UVA, phenomenal. And so is that shot by Colin Thomas. He just put it a tad over the bar.
Ty, he did all the hard work. Every touch in that move by Thomas. Look at that. Puts it right in his path, then takes one little touch to move it onto his right, and then just puts it over the bar. This is excellent work by Colin Thomas. Sees that window and takes the shot right away, knowing that the window is closing, and just can't put it on target. Great work.
Kid that deserves that. How cruel the game of soccer is. That's a good example.
Well, finishing is an important skill. You can have all of them, but if you can't put the shots on target, they're not going to go in.
Wake Forest will go into the locker room trailing 1-0 after an early goal by Reese Miller. But the Deacons have outshot UVA 10 to Virginia, and you are getting looks. You are getting into the box and taking some shots.
Yeah,
just not
absolutely.
getting over it.
No, the Deeks have built themselves into the game after the first 10 minutes or so where they were under pressure. That's not to say Virginia hasn't had chances, because they certainly have, but the Deeks maintained control most of the way through the first half. But like you said, they just have to start being more efficient in the attack. We saw the stats at halftime. Virginia, 8 shots, 3 on target, 1 goal. Deeks, 10 shots, 1 on target, no goals. So the efficiency's still working on it.
So that match down in Death Valley will have D&D. Devin will be on the call along with Dallin. Dallin, of course, play-by-play. Devin as color analyst. But Wake Forest already with possession and trying to see if they can find an early goal to find an equalizer. As Prince Mpanza pulls this one back, going up against Wood. And just to look up to see Travis Smith Jr. ran out of real estate. That touchline crept up on him. There's a jostle with Flax and Serafino.
Ty, we saw at halftime the ref has had a lot of work to do in this game, and understandably so in a rivalry match. You know, the ACC is tough as it is, but then you add the little extra grit from Wake Virginia, and both teams have used physicality to their advantage. Virginia maybe a little more so. They've done really, really well.
It's been since 2016 that UVA came onto this coveted ground at Spry Stadium in a regular season match. So it's been a while. And they have played in a postseason match here, one in which that COVID year where Wake Forest had 10 guys out. That was a tough one. It's Jeffrey White trying to penetrate it. Oh, well played. And Flax, he was there for it, but Lamb read it well. That is exactly what Brennan Lamb does. Sensational defender, and he can also, again, get involved in the attack and create mismatches.
What a ball that was, though, by Jeffrey White. You thought he was going to play the close vertical feed, and instead he had the vision to see the deep one and play Cooper Flax. Really good vision, and almost made a chance for Wake Forest.
The corner, can they execute? Fine level terms. Mpanza, Flax, scuffed. It was about to drop, but Wiese came up with it before Travis Smith Jr. was lurking. Once again, recycling. Flax has been allowed some cushion. Of course, when he gets close to the 18, it immediately shuts down. Thomas getting by. Such a feisty player.
Yeah, he's almost built for a game like this. Ty, we talked earlier about how Colin Thomas had no fear going into those 50-50 challenges where you knew the opponent was coming in hard and coming in hot. And there you could see, too, just shoulder-to-shoulder battling, trying to win the vertical ball, trying to get inside position.
Joey Petroni's only had one shot he's had to deal with, made a save. That's been pretty much it, but he has seen a lot of the black kits getting close and inside the 18, just only one real threat. Jeffrey White is a threat if he can get loose. Flax trying to curl this one around. And the wall continues for the Wahoos. Flax trying to find even the smallest margins just to curl it around the defense, but can't. It's every type shot. There's a UVA player there to block it out.
And the one thing, Ty, that has really impressed me about this Virginia team is how quickly they can move from one phase of the game to the other. The way that they are defending with so many players behind the ball and so many bodies in the area, you would think that they're just going to be pinned back the entire game, right? That looks like a low block, but it's not, because the ability for them to, when they do manage to pick up possession and then advance forward with more than just the requisite 2 or 3 guys in on a counterattack is so impressive. And as a coach, that's such an asset to be able to defend with those numbers and deep in your own half against a possession team, and then find yourself in the attacking half with numbers of your own. Not many teams can do both.
Well, Virginia, you saw that graphic on how sturdy, disciplined that back line is. Wake Forest able to now have 2 shots on frame. You saw how very seldom they saw shots on target.
Yeah, both shots on target have been relatively tame for Wake Forest. You remember the shot by Prince and Ponza in the first half that was from deep?
Trying to connect on those tight spaces. That's what Wake Forest works a lot on in training. It's Coach Muse. It's kind of just his way of creating that muscle memory for his team. And Serafino, I'm not sure what he's upset about because he was draped over. But it'll be a free kick and a quick restart. You wonder if Wake Forest could do something unpredictable here when they get into that final third, just to kind of get the Wahoos off their game a little bit.
Yeah, off balance, I guess, is what you're looking for. Yeah, you're right. And what's tough is they've tried a lot of different things. They've gone inside out. They've gone outside in. They've tried deep balls over the top. They've tried to pass through. They've tried lateral balls. They've tried vertical balls. Nothing's happening. And Virginia's ready for just about everything Wake Forest has thrown at them.
Deke still sticking with their game plan. Niang needs to put on his cape. Jeffrey White has a look. Jeffrey White with a scud muscle that almost tucked away into the far left corner.
Ty, that was a very impressive shot by Jeffrey White, because his necessary touch to get away from the defender moved him laterally and almost away from goal. It was more than a 45 degree or 90 degree angle from where he was facing to the near post, and to whip his shot around and be both accurate and powerful is truly impressive. Good save.
A corner. Third one for the Demon Deacons. UVA also has 3. Let's see what Wake Forest can come up with. Another deep floated high ball in the air with only Prince and Ponza there backing up to at least play it back into the mixer or play it close to the 6. As Escribano, who's back in. That's a big addition after that injury he had in game 1, because he means so much. Letting loose out of his cage was Paris Mitchell, but you can see Petroni, he read it well. That's why he's been so good in the ACC level. He came over from Coastal Carolina. You probably saw that graphic a little earlier. But, you know, he had a guaranteed starting job at Coastal Carolina, but he decided, I'm going to transfer to a well-known program, not Coastal Carolina, also a known program, not quite where UVA is, and I'm going to fight for the starting position, the starting keeper. And his first start was rocky. He got a second chance, and he just got into his own and has been a phenomenal keeper for head coach George Gelnovich back there as the netminder. So Colin Thomas went down, and then there is maybe a rebuttal foul that is called, and now UVA will get a free kick, which kind of baffles the fans here.
Nah, it's the right call. Referees had a relatively good day. There was only a couple things that I've questioned so far, and it was a clean tackle on Thomas.
This is played well. Dang. Boy, he was trying to put that one on his laces. I mean, look at this.
Yeah, first ball not cleared, and then, goodness, I don't really know. If you're the Virginia player there, I don't know what you're like. What did I do? He got bulldozed and got called for a foul.
And Nick Dang was holding that one up in there. That's another thing you kind of get worried about too, right? When you're in the box and then you have it up and you kind of feel the defense closing in, you're like, I'm about to get lit up. But Dang has been really, really dangerous for Virginia coming over from Lipscomb.
So for Wake Forest right now in the attack, the tough part is you want Baba Niang on the ball as much as possible because he's the one that can make a difference for you. But Bobby Muse is trying to move him around. We think, or I think, I won't speak for you, Ty, but personally, I think the number 10 is Niang's best position. But what you do when you put him there is now you've restricted the space that he can operate in because you're putting him closer to the Virginia defense. When he's on the wing, he has more space to operate. So you get him on the ball more. So the Deeks in this number 10 role for Niang have to find him. They have to work to find him.
Jeffrey White hoping for a call.
Yeah,
referee says play on.
Initiating contact as the attacker is never going to get you the whistle blown.
And once again, Wake Forest moving their numbers up to this final third, hoping for a good opportunity to put this into level terms.
That was a beautiful play. Flax with good strength to win the ball back.
Once again, setting up. Virginia keeping their shape, their discipline, as the Deeks work it around. Hoping to find a window of an opportunity. There is Thomas, and just couldn't get over the top. Flax had a chance. This is possibly a handball, or now they're going to say an offside goal. Wake again, maybe for a brief moment, thought it was a handball. I don't think it was, but...
Well, Baba Niang is lucky that that was offside because he has to put this on target. And if the flag hadn't gone up, this would go down as a huge missed chance. Well, maybe that was deflected. So I will retract my statement. But
so maybe it was a handball for Wake because he had his hand up. Now the hits keep coming for the Demon Deacons. And you get right there inside, close to the 6. You're trying to pepper some shots, and it's just that last ball. It's either will rocket back up, deflect, hit you, go out of bounds, or hit your teammate in the back like we saw in the first half where a brilliant shot was placed, but Julian Kennedy was right there and couldn't get out of the way. Another thing that pretty much the whole college soccer landscape is trying to deal with is the new subs rules. And, you know, it's somewhat difficult because you're so used to something for so long, right? And then, you know, you have now 6 different occasions where you can sub. And the consensus is that a lot of these teams and the coaches are checking to see what their opponent does and how they deal with it.
Yeah, you know, it's a change, but this is something they've been doing in the pro ranks for a while now, sub windows. When they changed the substitution rules for COVID, they added the idea of a sub window just to say, all right, we're going to give you 5 subs, but we're going to restrict that a little bit with the substitution windows. So now you get 6 sub opportunities, but there is a little asterisk with that. Halftime does not count as a sub opportunity. So if you make substitutions at halftime, does not count. You cannot re-enter once you've been brought off in the second half. And Bobby Muse told us, he said, this is actually cut down on the amount of discussion that we've had to have at halftime about subs because we're restricted in what we can do, so there's not as many options.
Thomas, he's looking for options. Escaping Niang. The wall of white jerseys laying this for somebody to come out for. And maybe he was expecting Escribano to run on. Escribano stayed back. But of course, it fizzles out. And once again, Wake Forest will recycle and bring it right back into that final third. Escribano, the service ball, played off Paris Mitchell. Here's Colin Thomas trying to tee it up for Cooper Flax with a blast. And what a save by Joey B. Joey Petroni. Stopping it with one hand, pinning it against the ground.
Excellent job by Colin Thomas here. I thought he had a chance to shoot right there with his left. He doesn't take it, and he lays it off for Flax for the rip. And what a save. What a stop to keep this game level. Cooper Flax, he has been in every position to score a goal this season, and it just isn't happening right now. But what a rip and excellent save. That's really the first chance all game for Wake Forest to test the goalkeeper.
You know what? That's another thing that Wake Forest, to add to their frustrations, they've had to deal with phenomenal goalkeeper play. You know, you go back to even what Radford did, and then Central Arkansas and VCU, they were all standing on their head. You finally get a look, and Joey Petroni with a huge save. And you just kind of put your head down like, what else do we have to do? But they continue to hold residency here in that final third. Played over the top. White didn't quite get all that muscle on it, and here's a look at the save.
Great look at it here from behind the goal. You can see the angle he's working with. That was destined for the far corner. Great stop.
You know, when they heard about his going into the transfer portal, Coach Adam Perron said he looked at how he got scored on at Coastal Carolina, and that intrigued him enough to say, okay, he got scored on, but let's see how those goals came about. And then he realized what great talent he was. And they said, yes, please come on to Charlottesville. Also got a gleaming endorsement, too, by Restrepo, who's well-known in those circles.
Well, that's a really interesting way to scout a goalkeeper, right? Of course, you want to look at the saves that he's made and what he's capable of. But also, what does it take to get past this guy, right?
Right. Jeffrey Smith surrounded again. That's another one of those strategies that we spoke to the associate head coach, and he said Wake Forest does well of getting those 2v1 matchups. So they want to not allow that, and you can see they have not allowed 2v1. It's usually Wake Forest with the ball surrounded by 2 or 3 Wahoo defenders. Paris Mitchell sliding it up, probing past to Niang. Here's Flax. Flax looking, sliding, plays it to Thomas. Thomas getting into the 6, trying to get over Joey Petroni. Petroni quickly off his line and deflects it. Here's another shot. A good look. Here's Fessler with a sizzler shot, but it's deflected. It goes out of bounds. Last touch, though, by Wake Forest. Yeah, you can see Fessler with the frustration there, but here's the first opportunity for
Save
the head, off
face.
the head.
I mean, that's just unlucky for Colin Thomas because he had the goalkeeper out awkwardly, just a little wide.
Yeah, that's
sliced at it.
Yeah, why Fessler was upset with himself on how he hit it.
So this season so far, Ty, Virginia allowing just 2 goals on 5 total shots on target. They've scored 2 goals on 5 shots on target. Tonight,
Wake Forest with 5 shots on target, yeah. So Toll coming in, allowing their opponent all 5 shots on goal. And then Wake Forest has already eclipsed that. Well, about 2. The Spry faithful trying to propel this Wake Forest team to find an equalizer. And the Deeks continue to fight. But they sit looking at a deficit of 1-0. And now another injury while the clock keeps ticking.
Yep, now the referee will stop it. And they'll have some substitutions, the Deeks will as well. Borso comes in. Jeffrey White and Christian Escribano head out. So with the new sub rules, that's it.
That's tough to see, too. And Christian is trying to get back 100% and coming off that knock. So,
for sure,
you know, he's trying to get his match legs, if you will, right? But you bring somebody that is pivotal like that for a team. There's just his presence gives his club confidence, and he has to go out.
Great defense there by Ryan Fessler because that was a sensational move from Virginia. 3 players combined there to just put 2 Wake Forest defenders in a blender. And Ryan Fessler finally able to stop the chance. Looked dangerous.
Yeah, very unlike Cooper Flax there. Surprised him. I mean, these kids, you know, how much they practice, how much they have the ball at their feet. Like, they're so used to it. And something like that, you're like, what just happened? As if some haunting ghost just popped the ball up. This may get dicey here for Wake Forest. Paris Mitchell able to turn and shoot, or at least put one in front of net. That's
really good goalkeeping, Ty, to snag that out of the air. A snap grab, if you will, because he did not have a lot of time to react to that. Paris Mitchell with some exceptional hold-up play there. That is a really important skill, not just for any striker, but a striker in this Wake Forest Bobby Muse system to have. You want to be able to make vertical runs, and you want to be able to hold the ball up.
Now, we saw a little sample size with that against Central Arkansas, right? The chemistry with him and Baba Niang. I wanted to see how he would do against premier type of, opponent, and with UVA. And he has passed the test. He's been able to hold the ball up. He's been able to work with ease, very cool and collected. Unfortunately, his team's still down 1-0, but he can hold the ball up, and that's what you want for your wingers to go and make those runs.
For sure. The last step really is to become a goal threat. And it's hard to do both. It's hard to play with your back to goal and with your front to goal.
Flax return to Paris Mitchell. He gets sandwiched and draws a free kick, which the Wahoo's not happy with.
Now take another look here. It looked live that there was first a kick to the player, and then, yep, there it is. In fact, you probably could have called it on both players. The barge from behind, more of a foul, because the defender in front, he got his studs up, but he pulled it back. So definitely a foul. Also right not to give a yellow card, and we'll see what the Deeks can produce from a very dangerous free kick here.
We got two snipers, Kyle. We got Flax and Fessler. Now, Flax got one last year against NC State, which he was upset he couldn't do it in front of the home crowd. Could he do it here? No way! You got to be kidding me, Cooper Flax! He answers the bell and puts up an absolute golazo. It's 1-1.
An absolutely sensational free kick up over the wall, bends it in, hits the inside of the post, and bumps it inside the back of the net. You cannot place this any better than Cooper Flax did. That is Lionel Messi-like. Up over the wall and in. There is no defense for that except to just not concede a free kick in that position. Nothing the goalkeeper can do, nothing the wall can do. Spectacular. And Wake Forest have the moment they've been looking for to get back level and push forward in this game.
I promise I do not have a script to this. It just seemed as if the way Cooper came on, like right behind that set piece, just looked as if he was possessed, and you couldn't have placed it any better. A ping off the near post and then in, which has, again, has ignited this crowd.
Well, I think it ignited Cooper just a little too much because he came charging in right off the restart. He's going to get a yellow card for it. I think that's a little fair, a little out of control. He didn't mean to do that, but right off the restart, just a little
slammed
amped up.
Did he slam it?
Came running right through, and a little out of control. But that's the kind of effect that a moment like that, Ty, can have on a team, because they are ready to go and ready to take control of this game. And now you'll see what Virginia can do to respond. They came out in this game and really kicked Wake Forest in the teeth right off the jump. 5 minutes in, high press, scored a goal. Now that the Deeks are back level, the next 5 minutes of this game are going to be extremely important. Who can take control? Will the Deeks continue to establish a foothold in the Virginia third and push for another goal, or will Virginia reignite the high press and try to put Wake Forest off balance? Look, he just little quick.
Elgashi, a little bit hobbling, but I think he'll be all right. From Sweden, very talented player too. He can hit it from distance, just like Cooper Flax.
Just a little overamped and through the legs.
I don't know. I mean, if it's late, right? It just seems like they slammed into each other. But what have you? It's still a yellow card. Get out of the way. Flax. You'll be hard-pressed to find a goal better than that, at least here in this first month. The freshman, the quick, Amani Thomas is now in. We had word that he was getting back to 100% and did not expect to see him, but, well, it goes well with Friday the 13th. Mysterious, bewitching, and out of nowhere, a freshman who looks to be 100% enters the pitch.
And Ty, you know, we have our charts to tell us about all the players on the field. My chart, the box says Amani Thomas, and then it just says very fast. That is the prized skill for the youngster.
Flax still all over the place. And the Deeks with a little bit extra adrenaline after that goal. Two big plays by the Wake Forest Demon Deacons that will have any Wake Forest Demon Deacon run through a wall. A brilliant save by Trace Alford, and then remarkable free kick by Cooper Flax. Now, if you remember, Wake Forest got a free kick by Jose Perez in the opener that was pinpoint and rifling right up in that upper V. Well, Cooper Flax just said, how about that? Virginia allowed an unfortunate goal against Duke. I actually thought Virginia pulled this is flag up. Interesting. As maybe he started off in an offside position. Some would say keep the flag down if he scores, then go back and look at it because you have that ability to say whether or not. Yes,
but not here. You can't rely on the camera angles here because they're not going to always be level, and you don't have that, offside technology like you do in the highest leagues. The semi-automated offside technology, Ty, is going to change the game in a wonderful way. The problem with it is it's outrageously expensive. It takes upwards of 15 cameras and many millions of dollars to install that technology in a stadium, but it is going to be really, really critical for the professional game.
Well, remember the Euros. I mean, it was small margins. You're like, come on, where you're going back to the, VAR, and it might be like the Ravens game, like a toe.
Right. But the key is it's quick, right? It makes the decision quick, and that's all that, that they want.
It seemed like there was a lot of
it's 30 seconds max. And you don't have guys drawing lines.
Drawing lines, yeah. Well, we got another injury in substitutions as Coach Muse with his team on level terms with their heated rival. Julian Kennedy comes in, and I believe for the first time in 2024, it'll be Sidney Paris who will enter. And he will replace Paris Mitchell. Paris for Paris. Is Mangarove getting a little stretched out. Another sensational player brought over by UNCG. Had a banner year in 2021 with UNCG, and then decided to leave and head up to Charlottesville. But he was also a part of the NC Fusion team that is in a documentary. If you haven't checked that out, it's called Through the Lines. He's in it. That sensational run where NC Fusion USL 2 went all the way to the championship and lost against Iowa in a sold-out, packed stadium. That's 130-plus teams, and NC Fusion was the last one of two that got to the championship. Unfortunately, they did not win, but it's a remarkable documentary. Mangrove was a big part of that team. Under 17 here in the second half. The question is, who has that last gasp of air to finish it up and get the 3 points? Bobby has played his cards, and he's going to bring in a striker with plenty of rests, with Julian Kennedy on top of bringing a leader that is finally getting playing time with Sidney Paris. A set-piece goal in the 70th minute. The sniper, Cooper Flax, to tie it up 1-1. 16 minutes remaining. This is everything we thought would happen between these two. It's unpredictable. And now that is not a good scene either, as Kruger goes down, the freshman.
Yeah, that was a hard 50-50 challenge. Looks like he's holding his right ankle.
Oh, look at this again, Kyle. He's coming.
Yeah, it just gets rolled up on.
Yeah.
It's like an offensive lineman getting their ankle rolled up on, and that's not fun.
Kruger, it was a part of the Philadelphia Union. He was part of the duo with him, and you probably know this name. Was it Kevon Sullivan, who is a
Cavan
Sullivan,
yes.
Sullivan, yeah.
The 14-year-old with the Philadelphia Union.
That's a remarkable story. Remember that name too, because even though I can't pronounce his first name, I did watch plenty of film on him, and he is, for him to be that age and get on with the Philadelphia Union.
And not just get on the first team with the Philadelphia Union, purchased by Manchester City.
Yes.
It's outrageous.
They have a way to get into the United States. You see a lot of U.S. players that as soon as they jump up and show themselves as fantastic players, you see a Manchester City comes up and signs. Where are the scouts? Where are these little talent scouts?
And what's fun, Ty, speaking of Kevin Sullivan, you could potentially, we're not sure yet, see Kevin Sullivan on the same field as Lionel Messi tomorrow night. Messi,
good plug there,
likely coming back from his injury, probably off the bench. And
look at that.
You wonder if
Travis Smith Jr.
bring Kevin Sullivan.
He heard Messi, decided to put out his Messi magic hat.
Good job by the referee there. He missed an opportunity to play advantage earlier in the first half. That is really well done, because he tried to play advantage and decided to pull it back instead, which was the right call.
Well, that first match for UVA against Duke, they lost 1-0 after that friendly fire, which, again, that's just unlucky. But you could see that Virginia was wearing down Duke towards the end. But their woes of trying to create and penetrate into that box, they just couldn't do it. And they lose their home opener, but it's Virginia, and they will get back to their winning ways, trust me. As Niang gets drawn down, Mangarov. Baba Niang actually played with the NC Fusion. They didn't play on the same team, but as Mangarov immediately, it was a tactical foul here, just pulling him down because they heard what you said about Baba Niang.
He's a game breaker, Ty, and his acceleration is maybe the thing that impresses me the most. For a player of his size, he hits the nitrous faster than I've really ever seen anybody his size do.
Yeah,
he takes 3 steps and he's at full speed. It's incredible.
wearing the new number 10. Niang wore number 8. But now wears that coveted number 10 jersey. Not a captain, but definitely a leader. And about as humble and a class act as you can get. Niang. Flax invites. It's the triple team there. We'll spray it out to the freshman, Amani Thomas. Can Wake Forest find the go-ahead goal here in the waning minutes? 12 and a half to go with a score knotted up 1-1.
And Ty, the one thing you don't want to do is give the ball away cheaply and allow Virginia to get out on the counter. If you're Wake Forest, they are going to play this very safe. Obviously, they want to try and build a goal, but giveaways like that, especially in the middle of the field, allow the opponent to counter quickly.
Look how quickly they're giving up the pitch. Brilliant slide tackle by Fessler to keep that one from turning into a little bit of threat by Virginia.
So it's a good example of what can happen. Ty, I remember 2 years ago, I went to Stamford Bridge to watch Real Madrid play Chelsea in the Champions League. And Real Madrid are the best counterattacking team in the world.
Who?
Yeah. They counter with such ferocity, it is outlandish. And as a result, as we'll take a look at the goals here.
And Cooper Flax is going out. And one of the goal scorers, the one for Wake Forest there, is the one for Virginia with Reese Miller in the 70th minute. Messi style, ping off the post and in. As if he knew the script. Finds the equalizer. We're knotted up 1-1. Cooper Flax deserves a nice cold drink of water. The Deeks with 11 and a half to go on a mission to maybe take away those 3 points. But
to finish the point here, Ty, and I want to illustrate exactly what we just saw and what Wake Forest has to be careful of is giving the ball away. You know, it seems like nothing, right? It's not a big deal. If you give the ball away at the top of the penalty area, they've got the whole field to go. But in the middle is really dangerous, to the point where Frank Lampard was the coach of Chelsea at the time. He refused to play. You could tell they told Chelsea, do not play the ball in at the top of the penalty area, because he didn't want Real Madrid to counter. And so it's a tough place to lose the ball. If you're Wake Forest, you have this patient buildup. You do not want to lose the ball centrally.
Look at that settle too. And Umar, after that first touch, the second touch got away from him. As we tick down to about 10 and a half remaining. Umar, the Dayton transfer. Virginia may have an argument there, as that tackle may have been textbook, but yellow card. I got to give props to Pilar for that, because sometimes when that happens, all you do is just buckle. You're like, yes, just I am the bad one. But
yeah, he did get the ball, but there's a grab of the horse collar first. I think that's why tough. He's having a conversation with the ref. He says, well, I got the ball. Without that horse collar tug, he had an argument for a legal tackle there. But when you add that in, it's very dangerous. There's a reason they made that a 15-yard penalty in the NFL.
Borso, new phase 2 return. Borso from the Chicago Fire Academy, highly recruited, and being baptized to this rivalry. With 10 minutes to go, you wonder if Wake Forest can find the go-ahead goal and get a huge victory over a Virginia team that has haunted them for years, ever since they got to the ACC. But Wake Forest has also done that to them. Deacons with 19 shots. I thought I had to double check there, but then there's the foul count with 5 yellows to Virginia, 2 for Wake Forest. Did you expect 19 shots by Wake Forest against Virginia?
Well, I'll say this, Ty, yes and no. From a volume perspective, maybe not, but from an efficiency perspective, yes, because the key is not the total number of shots, it's how many quality shots they've had, and the answer to that is not many.
And as long as you're making trips down there in the final third, and if you're getting Tibbs, right? As I like to say, touches in the box, Mr. Tibbs, you smile at that. Come on.
Touches in the box are nice. They are an indicator of attacking volume. But you've got to put something together with it.
That's true. But at least you're in the neighborhood.
Yes.
As Kennedy inside that 18, trying to get a touch. Back heel by Kruger is clever enough for Wake Forest to recycle and reset with about 8 minutes remaining in this one. Jostling is Perez. He comes back out with it. And maybe since he went backwards, that's why they didn't really call
there's a substitution
advantage. So. And there's a substitution for UVA.
Wanted to play it quick, but
so Luke Burns, who is a freshman himself from Scottsdale, Arizona, will come in, part of the Phoenix Rising FC Academy. Here's Borso.
Phoenix Rising, famous for signing what famous player?
John Baccaro. Who did they sign?
Drogba.
No, that's right, they did. But Baccaro started there too. He had sensational seasons with Phoenix Rising. Oh, that is brilliantly played by Mangarov, and even a better defensive stop. Mangarov goes down, and even Trace Alfin is not maybe happy with the shape of the back line. Maybe he's upset. I don't know what exactly took place, but he's having to kind of talk to his freshman.
Yeah, this game is getting really chippy. I don't think that was intentional, but he had a lot of momentum and couldn't really halt all of it. This is problematic for Virginia because Mangarov went down before, I believe, and needed some cramp treatment. So to have it happen again is an issue.
Mangarov last season started 12 games, 18 appearances for the Wahoos. He tallied 3 goals, 2 assists. And for the second year in a row, back in 2023, he scored the first goal for Virginia. And then he did it again here in 2024. But he played not too far from here at UNCG, where he started 16 matches. He finished the 2021 season with 4 goals and 3 assists. And he also was part of the U15 and U17 U.S. Youth National Team.
Well, his day is done, and it's Cameron Iriondo who comes on in his place.
Iriondo. Seems like both clubs trying to go deep into their bench or find some fresh legs to generate maybe the go-ahead goal. Can Umar do it? Sliding in just outside of the 18. This ball's deflected, and now some, again, extracurricular activity. This is twice as involved. Dang, this time going up against.
He has got to be careful because, again, it was hard for us to tell who was booked in that coming together on the other side of the pitch in the first half, but he was involved, and it's entirely possible that he's been booked and is on a yellow card, so he's got to be careful. That was, though, an inadvisable challenge in that incident.
He sure is. He likes going after the freshman, right? After going after Borso, and then he goes up against Amadi Thomas.
Yeah, this is not a great challenge by Thomas. He's late and swings with his foot. There's no intent to hurt an opponent. He's trying to swing for the ball to keep possession in the attacking half, but he's late, and you can't be late with challenges like that.
It's a little better angle, but you're right. Could be a little late. They both kind of slide tackling at the ball.
He did pick up a yellow card for that.
Another yellow for Wake Forest. Into a pocket and then tripped up. Yeah, that chippiness.
Yep.
And that's not a good sight. Yeah, both teams really just fighting hard for it. They know about the history. Here we are ticking down 6 minutes and some change. You're sitting at a stalemate 1-1, right? It seems like everybody's bracing to just get to the finish line, right?
Yeah, just got kicked in the back of the calf.
Now that was late.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those that, hey, remember I'm here too. And that's why this rivalry has been so well documented.
I think Umar wanted a red card for that. I think the ref made the right call, but I can understand why he was looking for it.
Here's Perez. Wake Forest just still sitting with 19 shots. They've hung on that number for a while as they build and try to work back into that final third as Perez surprised. Well done there by that freshman, Luke Burns. 5 and some change remaining.
Virginia defense has just been so good the last 15 minutes of the game. The Deacs have held a lot of possession and have done very little with it.
That freshman to freshman connection there. Borso tried to keep it in, but both a little overcooked. Went over the touchline. Virginia, they've got some tall targets up there that can create a possible go-ahead goal. You know, whether it's in the air or if it's on the deck. And coming in now, a little ace up the sleeve for Coach Muse, Ryan Bilal. Not Balil, as I call it, for his goal on Monday night, but he's coming in here with 4 minutes remaining and some change, hoping that he can get ahead on it.
Seems like intentional. Tactical foul.
You know, talking to some soccer fans before the match a couple days ago, saying about the UVA and Wake Forest match, and they're like, both teams kind of struggling, right? And I said, it's UVA and Wake Forest. Like, it doesn't matter if there's a number beside their name or, you know, if their record right now is, 500. These are big-time programs, and, you know, again, they have to reset every year, right? And you're definitely going to see a talented squad on both sides, and hopefully that got some more fans to come on out. But you know, they're so used to the number beside the name, taking on Virginia with a number beside the name. But it's a regular season game, first time that Virginia has come to Winston-Salem for a regular season match since 2016, and under 3 to go. Now, both teams looking for a win You kind of get to see some Wake Forest fans calling for a delay of game by the keeper, but don't you think both of these teams are going to try to swing and try to find the 3 points if they can?
For sure. I think there is definitely momentum right now in Wake Forest's favor, which is why Virginia have been happy to take their time. If they can grab a winner, then sure, but I don't think they're going to sell out for it.
Borso, nice settle.
Great tackle.
I don't know about that one, but Borso, good fight. Borso had to kind of cover his mouth with his hand. I don't blame him. Under 2. You think maybe there's 1 trip per team, maybe 2 left.
I would argue there's 1 trip total, and that should have been
advantage. And even Sydney Paris is screaming.
There have been a couple of moments tonight.
The reason I said 2, sorry,
cut out by advantage not being played.
Yep. The reason I say 2 is because how good these teams are of getting quickly up the pitch. So in sense, but yeah, I can see how you won 1. You get a fist pound and some Diet Dr. Pepper. 1 and some change. Both teams staring back at each other, refusing to blink.
I think that was a perfect example of where these two teams stand in as far as how much they want to attack. Virginia players were upset the referee stopped the clock there.
That's a good call, partner. "19 shots still by Wake Forest and only 8 by the Wahoos, and spinning and being pulled down to the ground. That was the freshman that was the guilty party in Luke Burns. Now, with 42 ticks remaining, Kyle, could we see it here? Nice settle. Borso with his hand up, looking for it. As Paris, Sydney Paris trying to work 1 extra touch as he tries to get acclimated. Back for 2024, and he got upended. And
yeah, that's a yellow card. That's a late challenge, and a very physical one too. 2 feet.
So yellow card.
And that's tough for Virginia to swallow, because now with 20 seconds, you've not only stopped the clock, but you've allowed Wake Forest to work something here from a dead ball situation.
Quickly, Kyle, what are you trying to do here with this?
It's a tough angle from really, really central. You're going to float it over the top. He's going to try and put this from an angle shaded just to the left, cross the face of goal to the right side of the net.
And you want to time that collapse or that
and
crash
maybe a
of the wave.
flicked-on header.
Right. Well, they've got lots of bodies in there and targets. Sydney Paris.
That was it. That was exactly what we were talking about, and it just didn't come off.
15 seconds. Borso trying to work his way around the defense. He puts it right in front of the 6. The side judge says it's out of bounds. And that is how this chapter, the 63rd chapter, will end. A early goal in the first half by that man right there, which we hope will get back to 100% Reese Miller. And Wake